Right, well, it was a busy Super Sunday for Anthony Taylor at Stamford Bridge, which is where we start. The main talking point, gents, was the red card for Chelsea midfielder Moises Caicedo following a VAR review at the Monitor for this tackle on Mikel Merino. Look, a challenge using excessive force and endangering an opponent. So, Dermot, when you look at these pictures, did Anthony Taylor really, have any other choice?
No, and I think when you see the tackle, it is bad. It's a red card. All I can think is Anthony doesn't see the point of contact. He plays advantage. He sees a foul, he plays advantage, comes back, he yellow cards him. VAR's done him a massive favour because he's alerted him to go and have a look. He's had one look, come back, it's a red card.
Yeah, I completely agree there. I think the challenge from Caicedo, it is a red card challenge. Even when I saw it at normal speed, I was like, he's in trouble here. And yeah, it was aggressive, but I don't think that he tried to hurt Moreno. That's one thing I want to stress. I don't think he tried to hurt him. I think it was just a bit more reckless and clumsy more than anything else. But then Anthony Taylor there, like Dermot said, he played advantage. He's 10 yards away. He didn't look at that and think that was worthy of a yellow card even. That's why he's played advantage. If he thought it was a bad challenge, he would have stopped it straight away. So I found that a bit strange because he's so close to what happened. But obviously then he gave him a yellow card. Did he give him the yellow card because maybe he wanted to get it reviewed? Or I don't understand why he would give him a yellow card because it is a bad challenge. Well, it was going to be reviewed anyhow, Joe, wasn't it? I think for me, I don't think he sees a point of contact. I think that's the key thing. If you watch Anthony, he recognises it's a foul because he plays advantage. He signals advantage. There's no doubt Arsenal got the ball. At that point, game goes on. It goes out for a throw-in. He comes back then. He gives him a yellow card. But why does he give him the yellow if he hasn't seen it? Well, he's seen it, the foul. Yeah. So in his view, he can always come back for a yellow card. Okay. I think if he thinks it's a red card, you're never going to play advantage. It's just too dangerous. Yeah. So for me, I think he hasn't seen the point of contact. I think that's a key issue. Okay. So the ball's gone on. The game's gone on. Yeah. He's come back, stop play for the throw-in. Come back, yellow card. At that point, the VAR said, you need to have a look at this. Yeah. And there's no doubt, you've only got to see one replay. Yeah. You see the point of contact, and it's always going to be a red card.
Yeah, and look, Enzo Maresca, he actually said Caicedo deserved his red card, and he was unhappy with, though, the lack of consistency from referees, having been on the receiving end of double standards.
It's a red card. But why Bentancur against Reece was not a red card? Spurs away. So us, as a manager, we struggle to understand why they judge in different way. Mo, it's red card, yes. Bentancur is red card, yes. Why they don't give them red card? So it's just that we struggle to understand. Then it's red card. The reality is that it's a red card. But why they judge in different way? And the Trevor one, I asked the referee, he said to me that it was not elbow.
So look, guys, what do we make of these comments? Because look, it's the tackle he was talking about, Rodrigo Bentancur's tackle on Reece James. This was Chelsea's win over Tottenham just last month. You both said at the time, should have been a red card. How do we get consistency with these tackles then, Dermot?
Well, we were consistent. We both said red card.
Yeah.
I said on Monday morning, red card. And I think since then, the PGMO have acknowledged that they feel it should have been a red card. Consistency is great. I say this every time you ask me. Consistency is great as long as you're right. But to be consistent there, you've then got to give a yellow card for Caicedo, which we know is wrong. So you can't be consistently wrong. You at least give somebody credit for going, yeah, I got that one wrong. I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to move on. I'm going to be a better person. When you're a player, you miss a penalty. You don't keep missing a penalty to be consistent, do you? You practice and practice and practice to get the next one right. Yeah. As long as you do get it right, then you get taken off penalties. Yeah. But I like what Maresca said there. That was very clear and honest. And that's what I always talk about, the consistency of it. And like Dermot said there, we was consistent in what we said. But again, when you're in a game, when you're playing against these teams and it happens so close to each other, it irks you because you're like, well, that didn't happen last week. Why has it happened this week? Yeah, but you need to be balanced, OJ. That you have to acknowledge that if somebody makes a mistake, you can't keep making that mistake. You've got to learn. You know, when you're a player, you couldn't miss a penalty every single week. Sooner or later, you were going to be
No, I understand that part, but saying sorry every single week and then doing it every single week, then it becomes a problem. That's my thing. If I keep making mistakes as a football player, at some point I'm going to get taken out of the team, right? And I'm saying sometimes there has to be repercussions for continuous bad decisions.
I'm going to say sorry and butt in because we want to move on to this next one. Come on, guys. Right. Maresca also thought Piero Hincapié should have been sent off for this challenge on Trevor Chalobah. Anthony Taylor gave a yellow card. Chalobah pointed out the evidence. Have a look at his cheek here. Look. Okay, that was, dramatic, but you look at his cheek. Why didn't VAR send him to the monitor on this one?
I actually think this is a yellow card, and I think you have to be very careful that you don't get seduced by looking at his cheek, because you have to judge the challenge. The player's leapt, he's used his arms as leverage. He hasn't swung his elbow, he hasn't used it as a weapon. He's caught him, there's no doubt about that. It's a flailing arm, he's caught him. It's an unfortunate injury, but it's a reckless challenge. It isn't a challenge that he's gone in to inflict hurt and pain on that player.
You're on form today. I completely agree with that. I've been in many situations like that where you're looking at the ball all the way, and then, like Dermot said, you use your arms to gain leverage to get up there. It's just an unfortunate, clash. And obviously, there you look at Chalobah. He's come out and he's got, a big bruise on his face, but it definitely wasn't intentional, and it definitely shouldn't have been a red card. It's the right decision.
Okay. Right. This one. Here we go. Another big call in the second half. So, Victor Yakarez clattered into Robert Sanchez. Look, it was a great save from the Chelsea keeper. Again, VAR thought Anthony Taylor's decision of yellow card was the correct decision. There was a lot of excessive force, Dermot. So, look, what stopped this being a red?
I just don't think it's a red card at all. I 100% don't think it's a red card. I was forward. That ball's broke loose. Sanchez has lost that ball. Yakarez, every instinct in his body is, I can score a goal here. He's gone to score a goal, he's gone for that ball, he's entitled to go for that ball because it's loose. The goalkeeper gets there a fraction of a second early and there's a collision. There's going to be a collision, but it's a yellow card at most.
I don't even think that was a yellow card. I was shocked that that was even, talked about, because ultimately, I think you need to take things into context as well. The pitch is slick, right? There was a great shot there, great save as well from Sanchez. But now the ball is loose, right? And if you're told as a striker, get the rebound, slide in. That's what he's done there. Yakarez has done exactly what he was meant to do. He's going for the ball. He thinks maybe he can reach it and get there. The only way he can get there is by sliding. I don't even want to get into physics, but forward motion and something that's like planted, you're going to hit it. So I don't even think that's excessive force. I just think that's part of the game. I don't think that should have been a yellow card. It definitely not a red card. And I think Yakarez is unfortunate there because players will get told to make them kind of challenges to try and score goals.
OK, look, we're going to move on to this one. One of the most unnecessary sending-offs you're going to see all season at London Stadium. Referee Darren England, look, he showed Lucas Paqueta 2 yellow cards. This was in the space of 54 seconds, both for dissent. But look, how concerning was this behaviour? I'm going to come to you first, though, on this, Jay.
This is just, idiotic behaviour. It really is. To be honest, when I was playing, I always used to argue with the referees, a lot. I used to get frustrated. I was a bit of a hothead. But you've been booked for arguing already with the referee, and it just continues. And it's like your teammates are trying to get you away. He's not listening. He continues reacting. Maybe Bowen. I don't know Bowen personally. Maybe his personality, he could have just dragged him off the pitch. I think someone like Roy Keane, Tony Adams, these kind of players would have just pulled him off the pitch and said, get down the tunnel. But, it's just poor play. He's let his teammates down. I would expect an apology from him, coming in after the game and losing. It's just poor.
Yeah, I want to bring this to you as well. Look, he took a while to leave the pitch. We saw him there sarcastically applauding the official when he eventually did. Now, he also posted this message on X afterwards. So he said, it's ridiculous to have your life and career affected for 2 years without any psychological support from the Federation. Perhaps this ridiculous behaviour is just a reflection of everything I've had to endure, and it seems have to continue enduring. I'm sorry if I'm not perfect. But look, Sky Sports News has contacted the FA for comment here. about the point that he raises about not having that help, but away from that as well, you do take that into consideration. But look, he applauded the referee, he was being sarcastic. Could there be more punishment for that?
The referee will make his post-match report. It goes to the FA. They will look at the video and deal with it appropriately. But I agree with everything Jay said. That's the most unnecessary red card I've ever seen. What I would say also in defence, we absorb too much punishment verbally as referees. If you watch that clip, you watch Darren England tell him and tell him and tell him. Yep. I was watching live yesterday and I said, he's going to go here. He wouldn't listen to his teammates, he wouldn't listen to the referee. If you look at the referee, he just gets fed up with it. Enough's enough, and he sends him off, and quite rightly.
And also, like Dermot said there, Darren England was fantastic. And regarding Paqueta's comments there, you know, we have to take in consideration there's a lot of, you know, mental health issues that go on in football. But for me personally, I had some issues when I was younger. I was a hothead, I had anger issues. I reached out to these people and went and saw a therapist myself. You know, maybe the PFA is not helping the players the way they should, but you should take it upon yourself as well to say, you know what, I need therapy, I need help. Let me go and check someone, let me go and speak to someone, because that's what I did, and that was as a 25-year-old.
Okay, right. I'll get to the Etihad where Peter Banks was in charge, and for a moment looked like we were getting one of those controversial offside calls that have dominated the last two shows, certainly with Jay and Dermot. There was a lengthy VAR check to see if Bernardo Silva, who was stood in an offside position, was interfering with play before Josko Gvardiol scored. Now Leeds goalkeeper Lucas Perry not happy at all. Did they get the decision right here? You could take us off on this one, Jay.
Okay, so I've been very hard on goalkeepers, saying they need to be stronger. Throughout the season, I've been consistent with that. But in this particular instance, I think that should have been given as a foul to Lucas Perry, because when you watch Bernardo Silva, he starts, I'm going to use you as well now, by the way. He starts in a position which is fine. But then when he backs in that way to the keeper, even though he lets go of him, it's that split second that stopped the keeper getting round to the ball. He probably would have reached the ball and punched it had Bernardo Silva backed into him. So I'm going to say that should have been a foul in this particular occasion, and he was wrong.
Mr. Consistent has just got inconsistent.
Yeah, what on earth?
No, but I think that one's just more like he's actually gone into him, and like obviously his first movement would be back. Well, I think a keeper's generally first movement would be forward or sideways and forward, but he's had to take a step back to get forward, and that's why I feel like it should have been a foul, because he's impeding him from coming to the ball.
Could have been avoided altogether, though, couldn't it, really? When you look at this, you know, Leeds fan want to know why Phil Foden wasn't given offside before the corner was given. So take us through this.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, Hayley. If you watch this, it's on a loop. When the corner's taken by Foden, the assistant is forced to move upfield. And if you watch him, he then moves up because he goes level with the last defender. And Foden is on his right-hand side, he doesn't see him. When Gvardiol heads the ball the first time, it comes back to Foden, who's in offside position, takes the ball in, gets struck, and goes for a corner. Because it doesn't go in the net, it has to be given. VAR can't intervene.
It's a great spot there, Dermot. I didn't see. I had to see this a few times before I actually understood, because when Gvardiol heads it, because it comes through so many bodies as well, you don't look at Foden. But obviously the linesman is looking across the line, so he can't see what's next to him, because he's like kind of almost like looking this way, you know. So
he's just lost him because he's taken his position up the second rearmost defender. So he's lost Foden. If you look, he's looking right across the line for the offside. Gvardiol heads the ball. Foden is offside, there's no doubt about it. It goes to him. He whips the ball in, it goes for another corner.
What about VAR getting involved there?
VAR couldn't get involved because it didn't go as a goal. So because it was no goal, no VAR. Okay. So the only outplay there was it to go in the net, and VAR would have picked that up.
Do you think to stop all this, VAR couldn't get involved, whatnot? Do you think VAR just have to be ready and on their toes for any situation?
Well, they can only deal with the situations that's in the protocol. And bearing in mind, we've already changed one law today. Let's not change too many all in one series.
Let's stick to the rules and carry on with the questions. We want to get through as much as we can. We've got Daniel Farke not happy with Gianluigi Donnarumma, accusing him of feigning injury to bend the rules. Look, what do you think of it? What can a referee do in this situation, Dermot?
Hamstring, because Paul Durkin, great referee in his time, he had something like this at Borussia Dortmund once, and he waved the guy up, and I said, that's great, Dirks, until you go across and there's something wrong with him. I said, you're not a physio, you're not a doctor, just leave it to the experts. So there's nothing a referee can do, because the keeper goes down, you've got to stop the game.
I mean, you know what's funny about this? This same conversation I had with Martin Tyler the other day, and he said when players go down and they're not injured, what then should happen is, if your keeper's not injured and you're wasting time on purpose, you have to bring a player off for a few minutes because you've tried to, cheat the system.
But how do you prove he's not injured?
Well, he stays on the pitch.
Well, he's
if he's injured, he comes off.
Look, let's move on.
Especially if it's a hamstring.
Well, yeah, true. Look, Banks awarded Leeds a penalty. This was in the second half. This was after Vardiol's challenge on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This looked tight on this first angle.
What?
But was it the correct call?
I'm not sure. What's tight about this? I don't know what's tight about this, because he lunges into the defender, right? So he hasn't touched the ball initially. He's taken the ball out, the man out, before he's touched the ball. That's a guaranteed penalty. I don't know what we're even talking about here. That is not tight to me. I'm sorry, Hayley. Is that the producer that's put some words on that screen that's not good? Because that is a guaranteed penalty all day long.
Point to argue, though.
Thumbs up for me.
There you go.
Absolutely right, Peter Banks.
And if you're wondering why VAR didn't intervene for a possible red card for Willie Gnonto for kicking out at Tiani Reinders, what's the feeling here in this one? Look, City fans just, wondering why.
Is this the one we disagree on?
Yeah.
What do you think, Dermot?
I think this is... sorry, Dermot.
I think it's almost petulant. I don't think it's a red card offence. I don't think there's enough violence in it for it to be a red card offence. I think it's not the wisest thing to do, but I don't think it's a red card.
I think that was a red card because he's kicked out. And we've seen red cards like that before, where players have kicked out. We've seen one a few weeks ago. Yeah, Beckham, exactly. I mean, that was the most famous one. But we've seen it, and I think that should have been a red card because he's kicked out. It's like he's kicked out his knee as well, knee height. So, yeah, I think by the letter of the law, that should have been.
Can we not change that law today? They've changed every other one this season.
I'm going to call HR on you.